like this, but I feel like I need to say something, so I wrote a few things down. I am currently on board the MV Hondius, and what's happening right now is very real for all of us here.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Now, I don't like to bring you guys this unfortunate news, but hey, my job is to report. Unfortunately, 3 people have already passed due to the Hanta Virus outbreak that's trapping 150 people right now on a cruise ship off the coast of Africa. It's alleged that the first person passed on the ship and they ruled that out as a respiratory infection. The second person passed after leaving the ship in South Africa, and the third person allegedly passed at the airport. Okay, this is a very sad situation. I recently got done watching the video, which I'm about to play, guys. One of the passengers, his name is Jake. You could tell that he's terrified about the situation. Like I said, this is trapping allegedly 150 people on that cruise ship. Let's go ahead and first get into Jake's video, and then we'll go ahead and get into some reactions. This is blowing up right now on social media, especially TikTok. Let's go ahead and get into it.
I normally wouldn't make a video like this, but I feel like I need to say something, so I wrote a few things down. I am currently on board the MV Hondius, and what's happening right now is very real for all of us here. We're not just a story. We're not just headlines. We're people with families, with lives, with people waiting for us at home. There's a lot of uncertainty, and that's the hardest part. All we want right now is to feel safe, to have clarity, and to get home. So if you're seeing coverage about this, just remember that there are real people behind it, and that this isn't something happening somewhere far away. It's happening to us right now. I'll share more when I can, but for now, I just ask for your kindness and understanding. Thank you.
I don't know if you guys are following what's going on that cruise ship with the Hanta virus, but they're saying that the virus is worse than COVID. So from what I understand, the virus comes from rodents and is obviously transferable to humans and can to humans. I think so far a few people have already perished on the ship from the virus. Now, I just read an article, and I don't know this to be fact. I'm just telling y'all what I read. I just read something that said that the Canary Islands is expected to receive the ship. Like, the ship will dock at the Canary Islands. This is supposed to be worse than COVID. We've seen how quickly things escalated with COVID. I fear that we're looking at something far, far worse than the COVID pandemic if that virus spreads beyond that ship. I have so much, let me be clear, I have so much empathy for the people who are on that ship, and I can't even imagine what they're experiencing and the desperation. I watched the guy's video who was recording from the ship, very tearful message. And a lot of the comments, actually the majority of the comments, were people who were saying things like, I feel bad for you, but y'all gotta stay out there. Y'all cannot dock that ship. And as it sounds, as it is to even have to think like this, I agree. This is one of those situations where you have to pick the lesser of two evils. On one hand, you got a couple hundred lives, the people on the ship. And on the other hand, you got, if that boat docks and the virus spreads beyond that ship, you're talking hundreds of thousands of lives, maybe millions. Again, this is worse than COVID, right? We seen what COVID did. We saw that. We experienced it. We lost family members to it. All the things. You know, life really just don't be playing fair. Like I pray that there's another solution. I do. I pray that there's another solution besides that boat docking. Yeah. What do y'all think?
Hey guys, what's up? So I'm coming to you as a nurse right now. I'm coming to you as somebody who is solely I'm planted on health and keeping people informed on preventative care. What you've been seeing lately, people getting sick and, you know, really can't shake it, it's something way bigger than we ever thought. We thought COVID was a problem. Sarge, we have something on our hands, for real. There's been people in and out the ER with signs and symptoms of a cold, but way bigger than a cold. Like, it's something no antibiotic or no medicine could fix. And to see that all these people are stuck on this cruise ship right now with the Hanta virus definitely draws in what we've been seeing. Guys, this is no coincidence. Please be aware. Please educate yourself on what's going on in this world right now. We are dealing with something that is so ungodly and so unfair to us as a human race, because it's just one thing after another. You know what I'm saying? And I just pray that everybody keeps themselves safe, keep yourself healthy, you know, limit the places that you go. Honestly, put yourself on lockdown. I'm putting myself on lockdown. I'm going to work, really desensitizing, really cleaning my body, my inside and out. So I just don't want it to get any crazier than it has to be. You know, we've been through something like this before, but I honestly feel like this is going to be so much heavier. And I just hope everybody stays safe. Hope everybody, you know, hug each other. Tell them you love them. It's that real. It's that real right now.
I made a TikTok on my spam talking about how they will not lock anything down if that virus comes to the US. Like, if you think that this administration is locking anything down after they barely did the last time, like, you are delusional. And I have people being like, well, when COVID happened, initially it was under the Trump administration and they locked it down. Yeah, after how long, friend? How long? I want you to rewind your brain, because I remember reading about COVID-19 back in November of when? 2019. We didn't go on lockdown until March. And they had to force that man to do it. And also, then they politicized masks and made it out so that people were stupid for masking, as if people were dumb for trying to protect themselves and wearing masks out in public. They turned masking, which is one of the number one ways to prevent the spread of into a political stunt. So what makes you think that they would do it now? Now, when, let's be clear, his first term, he had much less control over things than he does now. That man has blown past every barricade, stopgap, everything since he has been in office now. And we have 2 more years of him in office. That was his election year. And I'm really thinking that was the only reason why anything was getting moved, because it was election year. This isn't even election year. Like, yeah, midterms, but like, we got 2 more years of this administration. Like, I don't like, and I'm not arguing with these people. I'm not, because I'm like, you're stupid. Like, if you genuinely believe that the same man who orchestrated us leaving the World Health Organization and slashed the CDC gives a safety, are we okay? Like, are we literally good? Like, it's literally people being like, well, I don't like Trump, but he is the one who locked us down the first time after everyone else, and then proceeded to call it a hoax. And I remember in the year of 2020 watching the news, and he got up on that mic and said that our COVID numbers would go down if we stopped testing for them. You think that man is going to give the health and safety of the general American public after how much money they lost the first time we locked down? And y'all think y'all getting a stimulus check? I'm giggling. I think that's so funny. Like, it's just like, I can't argue with stupid. I really just can't. Like, how quickly you forget history. I know that time was really traumatic and tumultuous. You might have blocked a lot of that out. I remember, baby. Yeah, I was there, painfully so. Not sober, let's be so clear, but I was definitely there.
I've been seeing a ton of videos talking about this Hanta Virus outbreak on a cruise ship, and I thought I'd talk about my experience of catching it when I was 5 years old. So back in I think 1993, there was an outbreak over here in the US, and I was lucky enough to catch it. And I believe there's two different versions of the hantavirus. There's the pulmonary version, which is in your lungs, and the hemorrhagic version, which I had the hemorrhagic version. So I remember being super sick, throwing up at school and then coming home and throwing up on the way home from school. And then it was around Halloween. I remember getting sick on Halloween. And so it was just a lot of stomach issues, to the point where I now have a fear of throwing up, and I have not thrown up since kindergarten because of this horrible experience. And then there was a lot of fatigue, being super weak to the point where I couldn't even walk. And then the most disturbing symptom was when I was sick. I remember being in my parents' bed because I was sick. So I was sleeping in their bed, and then I just began to hemorrhage rectally. So it was just uncontrollable, just and tissue, and yeah. And I also remember having a rash that just covered my entire body. And so my parents rushed me to the hospital, and they didn't know what it was. So then they sent me to a children's hospital, which I had to be transported through an ambulance. And I remember being by myself in the ambulance, and at the time I didn't know why I was by myself, but my mom said it was because they told them that there was a chance that I would or have cardiac arrest on the way there because I'd already lost so much. I didn't want my parents to kind of interfere if I was in the process. And so then I'm in the children's hospital for a week, and they didn't know what I had for a while. For a couple of days, they didn't know what I had. And then eventually this doctor was just oh my gosh, and this revelation. I heard about this, I think this is the hantavirus. And then from there, they were able to treat me, and they thought I was going to have a lot of bad side effects after, maybe cognitively, physically, that I might have issues in the future, but thankfully I did not. So just make sure you are not around rats, you're not around rat droppings, wash your hands, wear a mask.